to exclusive conversation with Gift Best Junior. Each week, we dive into a different topic, interview an expert, and give you actionable strategies that you can implement right away. You can always catch us live on YouTube at Gift Best Junior. You can follow Gift Best Junior on Instagram also for instant updates. And now, let's dive into the conversation.
Now, today we're going to be talking about 5 ways to build your own economy. 5 ways to build your own economy. How do you build your own economy, irrespective of what is going on around you, irrespective of what every other person is doing? How can you, as a person, build your own economy? All right, I'm going to be talking about 5 ways. Now, there are more keys to this, there are more ways to do this, but I'm going to stick with 5 ways that you can build your own economy. And these are principles, these are priorities, these are key things that every single person who has been able to build a sovereign economy out of their skill, out of their potentials, out of their assignment, out of their passion, out of the things that they do, out of their career, out of their profession. These are basic things that they did to get the result that they have. These are basic things that they did to be able to build the economy that they have. So we're going to look at 5 ways to build your own economy. 5 ways to build your own economy. You must understand that every single person who wants to distinguish himself from the 99% into the 1% must understand how to build a personal economy. When I talk about personal economy, I'm talking about personal sovereignty. I'm talking about personal mastery. I'm talking about mastering your own skill, mastering your own emotions, mastering your own finances, mastering everything that has to do with you. Being a master of your fate, you must understand that for you to move from the 99% are those people who move with the crowd. The media says this is the way the direction is going. That is the way they go. The media says this is where everybody is investing. That is where they invest. The media says this is what everyone is buying. That is what they buy. The media says this is what is happening around the world. That is the information they have. But you must understand that you don't get to being part of the 1% by doing just that. You must understand that there are principles, there are things structures that you must put in place to move from the 99% of the world population into the 1% that is actually the significant percent of the world population. So you must understand that. So we're going to talk about 5 ways that you can build your own economy. Now, if you're listening to me, chances are you want to dominate your skill, right? You want to dominate your profession. You want to dominate your sphere of influence, right? You want to dominate where you are. You want to dominate the profession, the career that you have chosen. Now, for you to do that, most times, it's not just that you want to dominate. Some people have the vision of dominating the world. They want to dominate so much more. They want to dominate. They want to be known all over the world, right? Now, the chances are, if you're listening to me, you either belong to any of this category, all right? But whichever category you belong to, you must understand that things don't just happen to people. Things don't just happen to people. People make things happen. People don't just stumble on results. It's not luck that makes people successful. You must understand that. Don't believe that lie. It's not luck that makes people successful. Every successful person has certain principles that they followed in order to get the result that they have. They have certain principles that they followed to be where they are today. They have certain principles that they follow to get the amount of money that they have, the amount of influence that they have, the amount of traction that they have. They didn't just stumble on it, all right? So you must understand that, and your job becomes to explore those options, to explore those principles, to explore those things that they did in order to get the result that they got, all right? So we're going to look at 5 principles on how to build your own economy. Now, number 1 principle is you must master yourself. 5 principles to build your own economy. Number 1 principle is you must be a master of your own self. What does this mean? Now, most people, when you talk about temperament, when you talk about personality types, when you talk about love languages, when you talk about triggers, when you talk about those things that has to do with their personality. They only consider it when they're going maybe into a relationship, maybe when they want to do something more personal. But you must understand that these are things that you must understand on about yourself on a normal base. You must know why you behave the way you behave, because that means that there's a scripture that says that a man without self-control is like a city without walls. A man without self-control is like a city without walls. Now that means that if you have no personal mastery over yourself, you are like a city that is vulnerable to be attacked. What does that mean? That means that anyone who is able to understand you better than you understand you, they have a control over how you respond to them. They have a control over how you behave to them. They literally have the power, the key to control your response, to control your emotions, to control your mood, to control how you behave, to control your progress. They have the capacity to control your being. So you must understand that the first key to building a personal economy is personal mastery, self-mastery. My mentor John Obidi calls it personal sovereignty. You must understand that you need to have a personal mastery for you to be able to build your own economy. Every nation that have been able to become a sovereign nation, they have a knowledge of their citizens. They know what they have, the resources that they have. They know everything that makes up they know their population, they know the landmass, they know everything that makes the country their country. So you must understand that as a person that intends to build a personal economy, you must understand that you must first master yourself. You know your personality type, the things that you're supposed to do, your weaknesses, your strengths. Right? You must know your weaknesses, you must know your strength, you must know your triggers, you must know your love languages, the things that makes you literally like people, opens up to people, become vulnerable to people. You must know those things. So because the moment you don't know, anyone that knows can exploit it. So you must understand that you must first master yourself in order for you to build a personal economy. In order for you to build your own economy, you must have personal mastery. What are your temperament? What are your love languages? What are your triggers? What is your personality type? Do you understand these things? What are your weaknesses? What are your strengths? What are your relationship desires? What are the things you want? What are the things that makes you like people, makes you hate people? What are the things you like? What are the things you hate? You must understand these things because they are the foundation of building your personal economy. You must understand that. So that's number one. Number one way to build a personal economy is to have personal mastery. Number two is you must build an individual value system. You must build a personal value system. Now, one of the things that will really explain this to you is the fact that every nation does not grow merely by importing products. No nation thrives. No nation becomes successful. No GDP of any nation increases because they are importing a lot of products. One of the things that increases the GDP of any nation, one of the things that increases the revenue of any nation, one of the things that increases the finances of every nation is the fact that they have value that they export out of the nation. So you must understand that for you to maintain, to build and to maintain a personal economy, you must have a value system. A system that allows you to give value to people. You must have a system that allows you to communicate. It could be a product. It could be a service. It could be knowledge. It could be whatever. It could be your skill. It could be your career. It could be your profession. Anything. But you must understand there must be a value system, a value structure that allows you to export so you can increase the GDP of your economy. You must understand that. Number one is you must have personal mastery. Number two is you must have a personal value system. Not just a system that gives value to you, but a system that allows you to generate and to export value. A system that allows you to generate and to export value. That's number two. Number three is you must build your own infrastructures. To build a personal economy, one of the things you must do is you must build your own personal infrastructure. What does this mean? You must understand that no nation is developed, no nation becomes innovative, no nation becomes a thriving nation because they rely so much on the resources from another nation. Every nation that has thrived, every nation that has been able to become an innovative nation, to experience progress, every nation that has been able to experience progress, they have had to have their own infrastructures. Not just a value system, but they have an infrastructure that allows them to be sovereign. Because for you to be sovereign, you have to be sovereign, right? You have to be independent, because the more you want to be sovereign, the more you want to maintain a sovereign economy, is the more you must have your own infrastructures. That means you have your own power. That means you have your own network. That means you have your own systems. You have your own financial system. You have your own education system. You have your own personal systems that allows you to be a sovereign nation. So you must ask yourself today, what are the systems that you have that makes you sovereign? Do you have your own power? Do you have your own network? Do you have your own infrastructures? Do you have your own structures? Do you have your own system? Do you have your own financial structures, educational structures? Do you have your own personal structures that allows you to maintain your sovereignty? That's the question you must ask. No nation has been able to become a thriving nation, a developing nation, because they relied on the electricity of another nation. You must understand that this is one of the reasons most third world African countries are still the way they are, because they lack personal infrastructures. They lack personal sovereignty. You must understand that. That's number 3. Number 4 is you must build your own connections. For you to build a personal economy, you must build your own connections. What does this mean? Every kingdom has its allies. Every kingdom has its allies. As a matter of fact, any kingdom without an ally is a kingdom that is vulnerable to be attacked, is a kingdom that is vulnerable to be overthrown, is a kingdom that any enemy could just come up with 2-3 allies and overthrow. You must understand that for you to build a personal economy, you must develop your own network. When I talk about network, I'm talking about your allies, connections, relationships, people, friends. All right, you must have your own network. You must have allies. The reason you need allies is for collaboration. The reason you need allies is for partnership. The reason you need allies is so you could be able to rely on the infrastructures that you could collectively build with other people. Because you must understand that any nation can be sovereign, but no nation thrives continuously alone. Every nation can be sovereign, but no nation thrives continuously. That's one of the reasons you must not be part of those people who say, I don't need people, I don't need people, I don't need friends, No, you need people. You need people. You need allies. In case of a war, when I talk about, I'm not saying someone is going to attack you with nuclear bombs. I'm not saying someone is going to come shoot at you. I'm saying when there is a need for you to collaborate with people to get more results, to achieve more, you need allies to do that. So to build your own personal economy, you need to build your own personal economy, you need to build your own personal network. You need to build your own personal network, your personal relationship. You need to build your connections. You need to build, because your network will determine your net worth. Look at the powerful nations. Most of the powerful nations, they are not powerful because they have a lot of nuclear bombs. They're not just powerful because they have a lot of resources. They're not just powerful. One of the reasons they are powerful is because of the people that they have as their allies. You must understand that the people within your network, the people within your community, the people within your circle determines how influential your economy will be, how strong your economy will be. You must understand that. Number 5. All right, we talked about number 1. We said number 1 is personal mastery, personal sovereignty. Number 2, we said number 2 is you must build a value system. Number 3, we said you must build your own infrastructures. Number 4, we said you must build your own network. Then number 5 is you must establish your authority. Every sovereign nation that becomes sovereign did so by establishing their authority. They did so by establishing their authority. They did so by establishing their sovereignty. They did so by establishing their sovereignty through demonstration of power. You must understand that one of the two things that distinguishes you in the nation or in the platform of power or in the scheme of power globally is the value you bring and the power you command. The value you bring and the power you command. The value you bring, what are the solutions you bring it? That is one way to establish your own authority. Because if you bring in so much value in a particular niche, you automatically become a consultant, you automatically becomes a master, you automatically becomes an authority in that niche. That is one way to establish your own authority. So you must understand that two things that allows you to establish your own authority as a personal economy is you must demonstrate and establish your power. You must demonstrate the value you can bring. You must demonstrate the authority you have. Power is useless if it's not used. Power is useless if it's not demonstrated. Influence is useless if it's not used. Value is useless if it's not communicated, if it's not exported, if it's not used, if nobody knows about it. So one of the things you must do is you must establish your authority. Do you want to be an authority in media? Do you want to be an authority in business? Do you want to be an authority in politics and governance? Do you want to be an authority in education? Whatever sphere of influence, whatever niche you have decided to build around, you must establish authority in that niche. You must establish authority in that niche. That is how you build your personal economy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining today's episode of Exclusive Conversation with Gift Best Junior. I'm so excited that you were part of this episode. Don't forget to click the subscribe button. Don't forget to share the link to this video with your friends. Help them build a personal economy that helps them to command more results, that helps them to command more productivity, that helps them to command more resources in 2022. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you so much for sharing this link. Thank you so much.